morning, Amy.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, we're here at the Lebanon Star. Tell us about our guest today.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be introducing my dear friend and an amazing star in Lebanon, Mickie Marquis.
I'm glad to be here.
And the president of the Lebanon Garden Club. But not just the president, you've been the president, but you have been with the Lebanon Garden Club for how long?
I think 30 years or so.
Just a mere 30 years. She has been instrumental, here's what I would say, in creating much of the beauty within our Lebanon community.
Yeah, and we come in, and I mean, you start, if you're coming in, especially 42, we see the beautiful gardens that you guys have. People come visit the train.
They're
always there.
Yeah, in the 70s, there were 4 clubs in Lebanon, and the president of each club got together, and the Lebanon station at that time was trash, bottles and cans, and just, it was not a gateway to the city. And 75 and 71 weren't here yet. So that was the gateway to the city, and that's what people saw. And the Garden Club ladies decided to clean that up and create something beautiful, and it went beyond their expectations.
And it is an unbelievable
It is such a showpiece. I love to go and take photos and angles. You see the gardens and
right now is peak time before the heavy hot summer comes.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I know the plants are starting to get a little bit of issue from, some of the, but right now is the time because we've had a great growing season this year. With
We always had a formal landscape there, kind of an English landscape with the boxwood hedges. And maybe 6-7 years ago we redid it, so it's just now coming back into its own.
So this is the year. If you want to go down and visit them, you should go down.
It's a great time, great time.
But you know what? We're here really to do a lot of talking about is an event that we just love and the community loves, and people come from all over, and that is our butterfly
I was saying,
release.
You're wrapping this up in a cocoon here, Amy.
Oh my gosh, it's just so amazing. So
if you've never been to the butterfly release, you need to go.
My
This
goodness.
is an unbelievable activity at Miller Park. You and I ran into each other last year, and it was just a really, really cool time. So tell us about it.
Yeah.
We started the garden out there about 10, 11 years ago. It was 74, 24, 14, and now it's a 10th year of the release, and every year just is bigger and better than the year before.
Right.
And so when is it this year?
August 9th. It's always the second Saturday in August.
And what time?
We start about 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Okay, and this is at Miller Park. And so I know a lot of people are concerned because they're like, well, Miller Park doesn't have that many parking spaces, and how do you do with it?
We park people at the church across the street, and we have a shuttle bus that brings them over.
So if you're going and you're concerned about parking, do not be concerned about parking.
Right.
Because you will have absolutely no issue.
Right, and the city manages all the parking for us, so that's...
And if you have a disability and have challenges walking, there's even golf carts that are helping along, which is great. But
and
they
a lot
all
of
lead to the vent.
Right, and a lot of times people will let us know ahead of time that they have issues, and we'll make sure that we know that they're okay.
So that's
they
a great thing.
Can reach out on Facebook.
Okay, so what's your Facebook site? Do you know what?
Lebanon Garden Club, Lebanon, Ohio.
Okay, Lebanon Garden Club. So let's talk a little bit about the event. So when does this start? When does the release actually start?
We start selling butterflies at 8:30 in the morning, and then we release them just a little bit after 10, but we sell them for about an hour and a half.
Okay. So I'm coming as the first time, and I don't know what to expect. I'm going to get in the line.
You'll be met
get
with a
butterfly.
big long table where they'll sell butterflies.
Okay. And how much does a butterfly
$5. And it's less than our cost. We try to keep it affordable for families.
Okay. So do these butterflies have dollars on their wings or something like that? Because most people may turn around and say, well, $5 is a lot for a butterfly.
You know, what's interesting about all of that, they do not hesitate to pay that $5 for a butterfly.
Because they're not really paying for a butterfly. What are they doing?
Just supporting the event. And we don't make money on it. That's not the purpose of it. We just want the kids to learn about butterflies. We have a lot of educational booths as well.
Yes.
Ohio
There's a
State
lot of
comes.
educational booths,
Yeah. And fun.
And, yeah. And okay, so they're buying their butterfly, and the kids are a little fascinated, kind of looking at this.
Well,
butterfly.
we start out with a paper butterfly.
Yeah.
So we give everyone a paper butterfly, and then right before we release them, we exchange the paper butterfly for a real butterfly that are sleeping, and they're in a glassine envelope.
Magic. The paper butterfly just turned into a real butterfly that was sleeping, and then magically woke up.
They're sleeping in a cooler.
Yeah.
We keep them a little bit
and you have to give
on
them a
ice.
little caffeine, right?
Yeah. Well, just warmth.
So talk a little bit about some of the butterflies that everyone will release.
So we have 3 different kinds this year: red admirals, painted ladies, and monarchs.
Yes.
And
There
so
are
they'll
3
all get
different
released
kinds.
At the same time?
Yeah, and
Okay.
because they're different butterflies, they fly differently. Like a monarch kind of swoops, and some of them fly jittery, in little spurts. But it makes it more fun to see all of them in the air flying differently.
I think it's really magical to see that. And you take a look at small children who are just so excited
With
to
eyes
even
this
with their
big.
eyes like that, and to see, because how many butterflies do we have?
500.
We have 500 butterflies.
And did we
you have
sell
this-
out last year?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that is one of the things you do want to get there early, because
Yeah.
you do not want to have the opportunity to sell. And it's not like you're going to bring your own butterfly.
Right.
So you definitely want to make sure if
And
you're a family, you're getting there with your kids.
If you get there at 8:30, right when we start selling, there's plenty to keep you busy, or your kids. We have
Right.
tattoos and fun things.
Right, and
a
there
raffle.
are activity centers for the kids too at Miller
Right.
Park too. So there'll be definitely plenty of things to keep them busy.
Right.
Okay, so 10 o'clock comes rolling around. Does
And-
the gong go off? What happens?
We just welcome everyone.
Yeah.
And we have a couple of county educators that we like to lean on, and they will tell us something different every year about the monarch butterfly. And then we have a countdown and release them.
And that's where the kids just go absolutely crazy. It kind of reminds me a little bit of an Easter egg hunt.
It is.
You know?
And the butterflies, at first they kind of go up, but then they hover right around that garden, and they all find a flower.
Yes.
And if you look at the garden, just above it is just a cloud of butterflies above the garden.
And if you are a photographer,
Mm.
if you are a photographer, and that's what I love to do, if you are a photographer, you are snapping, you are taking some of the most beautiful pictures. But the flowers, the butterfly garden is absolutely
It's perfect timing.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous,
And the butterflies want to be there. So if you don't like crowds and you want to come later in the day, you can come before it gets cool, but 6, 7 o'clock at night, and that's a wonderful time to take pictures. The butterflies are still there, but most of the people are gone.
Yeah, I know that for me, there's a couple pictures we're going to attach to this, and I know Amy's got some that we're going to share. Yeah. So you're going to see them here in this podcast. But one of the things that I thought was just absolutely spectacular, it was the flowers are all in bloom. These butterflies are just absolutely beautiful, but the people are beautiful. Mm-hmm. And you're turning
the happiness.
Around. Yes.
Oh,
the
yes.
happiness.
Yeah.
And yes, we know that as kids, but it's the happiness on the moms and the dads and the grandparents to turn around and see their kids in just awe and wonder. Mm-hmm. And I think this is such a great event because we don't have a lot of awe and wonder. We're in front of the kids are in front of their devices, and they don't even want to be in front of their devices.
Right,
they want to see the butterflies.
Well, Jenny Blake of Touching Hearts,
Mm-hmm.
the owner of Touching Hearts, always brings a group of her, the people that she works with, older adults, and they come and they all get butterflies. So it's the young at heart. It's the older folks as well who and they're some are in wheelchairs and things like that. And I believe they're coming back.
They are.
They
And
will be back.
They adore the event.
They love it as well. So you've got ones this big, you got toddlers all the way up to, what I say, people my age?
Youngsters.
Youngsters, yes. Which is always fabulous.
So how was this started? What was the concept and an idea? Tell us about how the butterfly release got started.
So monarchs they're not endangered, but they are on a list to be looked at and watched. They are definitely threatened. The habitat.
I was going to ask you, what is the threat coming from?
The habitat in Mexico is being compromised. And then we use a lot of chemicals and kill a lot of the milkweeds. The farmers don't want milkweed in their fields.
Right.
So we have killed a lot of their host plants. And some butterflies will go to several different plants for a host plant. And a host plant is one where they raise their young, where a nectar plant, the adults feed. But the host plant's important because that's where the caterpillars eat and grow. And they were just, the numbers were devastated. It was like fractions of the amounts we saw before. So they started paying attention to it, and garden clubs in general just really started doing everything they could to raise awareness for the butterfly. And so we wanted to start a garden where they could, they migrate from Mexico to Canada, and we wanted to just be a happy spot on the way in their migration.
Why are butterflies important for a gardener?
They pollinate. And
pollinate.
I believe it's every third bite that you take has been pollinated by some kind of insect. So it's important for our food.
Yeah. So some people don't think, the butterflies are not an issue to me. They are.
Yeah.
Because if you want to eat, they are an issue to
yeah.
you. And as a pollinator, so getting that up. So why did this start in Lebanon? Just the thought of, hey, we could be a
wanting to be this. We had the beautiful land donated for Miller Park,
yeah.
and it was really nothing for a long time. There was no parking, so we had a hard time developing that, knowing what to do with it, the city. And once they started putting parking in, we thought that would be a great place for a butterfly, and we approached Branca at the time, and he was thrilled to have us be there. So it's a pretty garden. A lot of pollinator gardens are weedy, and we've decided we're going to use the pollinator plants, the host plants, the nectar plants, but we're going to make a thing of beauty. So
and it is absolutely.
And it's in its peak during the butterfly season, but there's always something blooming.
Yeah.
And even though crocus aren't really a butterfly plant for the monarch, they bloom so early, sometimes the end of January. And so I noticed in my garden that honeybees were on my crocus, and I thought, we'll put some crocus out there. So we have early blooms and late blooms almost all year round. We have something blooming.
What are some of the flower types that somebody may expect to see?
With lots of milkweed.
Yep.
We probably have more milkweed than any garden I've ever seen. We have lots of species of milkweed, and we have some goldenrod, red hot pokers, tall verbena. It's a tall flower with little purple flowers on top, and people always ask what that one is. There's so much of it, it recedes. And butterflies are always on it, but there's certain plants that butterflies always go to.
So if I'm growing my own garden, what plant should I be planting for butterflies?
If you want monarchs, only milkweed, because that's the only plant they'll lay on.
Okay.
But then the swallowtails, we have beautiful swallowtails in Ohio. The zebra swallowtail only wants to be on the pawpaw tree.
Okay.
But then there's bronze fennel, parsley.
Okay.
Sassafras, trying to think of some of the swallowtail host plants, but clover, violets, a lot of them are what we consider weeds that a lot of people try to eradicate from the lawn that they shouldn't.
Yeah. So I have a really just curious question about a butterfly, and you may know this or you may not know this. Sometimes people will tell people are attracted to butterflies. So butterflies will land on them, they may take them off of them and release them, and the butterfly comes back. And then the butterfly comes back again to that person. Any ideas why that
I would guess, and I'm not sure, but I would guess butterflies have an extremely strong sense of smell. And maybe there's sweat, your sweat smells like something, but they're attracted to. For a mile away, they can smell a milkweed plant. So if you smell good somehow to a butterfly, I would say and that's something fun at the release when the butterflies land on especially little kids.
It's
or
really
color. Sometimes it's color or shape.
Yeah. So
But
it
a
can
lot
be
of
color
times
or shape
smell.
as well. And smell. So should they be buying a lotion that they can put on?
Oh, I don't know if there's anything like that. It's probably better not to have anything at all.
Right, right.
But bright colors.
Sunblock probably that day.
Definitely sunblock.
Yeah. So it was just interesting because I know that was one of the things that I saw was interesting is that the butterflies were attracted to certain people and they would land and these kids would be just absolutely fascinated.
They are.
Yeah.
It's exciting to see a butterfly land on a little one.
So for this event coming up, obviously they go to Facebook. You do want them to tag you guys on pictures.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah,
Definitely.
Which-
And the city.
Yes.
Tag
And
the
the
city,
city.
too.
Yes.
And we do this in conjunction with the city's Monarch Run. So they have
They have a 5K
5K
run.
running before. And what's that 5K going towards? Who's the 5K?
the Parks Department.
So the Parks Department.
Right.
So
When we have the event and people are there, you're going to see runners. You're going to see runners going through, and then a lot of the runners then will come back to
being part of the event.
to be a part of the event. But it's very very cool to see that. You'll see Scott Brunka is one that will be running.
He always
Yeah.
runs.
Our line dancing.
And line dancing, running, line
manager.
dancing.
Right.
You have to capture that. You have to capture that moment.
Maybe we can have a
But,
butterfly dance for Scott.
Yeah. So it's just a wonderful event.
Yeah. So for this event, again, as people are coming into this, how many years has this been going on now?
11.
11 years.
Yeah.
So this is 11 years and it's coming. And it brings such joy. But that doesn't happen unless you've got organizations that are willing to turn around and serve the community, because there is a cost to this. There is having a partnership with the city and turning around and helping with the event. I mean, even they've got to provide policing because of
Right.
traffic
and
issues and things like that. So it's great to see partnerships turn around. But if you have a passion, your passion has been gardening and plants.
Right,
And,
right.
This has come from a passion, but because of that passion, now you're serving and you're serving the community.
Right.
You've not just done it for one day.
A lot
You've
of,
done it for a long time.
right, about 2 or 3 days a week from April through October, we work in the garden.
Yeah.
So this is the highlight, and it's definitely a lot of concentrated work, but we work all year.
Great.
Well, a lot of people think that the city puts on all these events, and there are quite a few events in the city. All these nonprofits, so many of these nonprofits step in to do those kinds of things, and there's so many different events that happen in the city. This one is so different
It
than
is.
the country music festival or line dancing or that we joke about, those kinds of things. This is something that the Lebanon Garden Club does, and that kind of highlights many of the wonderful things that the Garden Club does for the city.
So while you're here, let's ask you a little bit about you yourself, because you are a star. You've been in the Lebanon Garden Club for a long time. So tell us a little bit about you.
Here's what I want to say when we say that, because that is a really important question. Because we are absolutely blessed in many ways to have her sitting here today because of her story and what you've been through. There's a lot of power in you being here, and a God thing that you are sitting here with us today.
A couple of days before the release in 23, and I had everything, I mean, not me, the club had everything in order, and on Tuesday I had a car accident. My passenger was killed, and I was out of it for quite a while. Just started walking about a year ago. But my lungs collapsed. I had 15 broken ribs. It was a pretty serious accident. And they weren't sure if I'd walk again or if I would even make it. But by the grace of God, He's not done with me yet.
Yeah.
And here I am.
And you have, again, like I said, served this community in such a long time, and you still continue to do that, even through some of those trials. Why?
I love flowers. I love the beauty. I love being able to help to beautify the city. And the Garden Club, we're a smaller club. We're about 20, 25 members. And it's a
That's a
special
small
club.
That may be a small club in somebody's eyes.
Some of the clubs, especially in the Cleveland area, are over 100 people.
Yeah, because they've got nothing else to
We're
do.
a
Because the
small,
Browns
we're a
lose all
small
the time.
but mighty club.
Yeah,
Yes, we are.
But
We are.
Cleveland, they've got nothing else to do because the Browns lose all the time.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
Here we
recognize that.
So you have a large club, and you have a large club in this community, I think, and you influence.
Well, and that's only one of 2 clubs. We have 2 strong clubs.
2 strong clubs.
But the Lebanon Garden Club, we're friendly. It's a good group of people.
When you drive through the city of Lebanon, and, like I said, you were here, a long time, and you drive through the city of Lebanon, and you turn around, and you see how awesome this city looks. From the art that's there, but from the parks and the gardens, from the hanging baskets, from the hanging baskets on the bridges to all the beautification, you probably have to jump up and down. And say,
We've had a finger in a lot of pies.
Well, in particular, the sculptures that we are putting, the beautiful
The
iron
butterflies.
sculptures and the beautiful butterfly that is there near the train station is just absolutely incredible. It's bringing that art into the community, which is just absolutely spectacular. And being here as long as we all have, we've seen the transformation of the beauty and the importance of, and the Garden Club has contributed extensively to that. But to see from when I first moved here, when you were first here, the transformation has been absolutely incredible. Incredible.
I love Lebanon. It's just a beautiful city.
Yeah.
My father was a carpenter. He built houses.
Okay.
And a lot of times we would be driving by somewhere and he'd say, I hung those doors, or I framed that house.
Very cool.
And so when I drive by, I say, I planted that garden.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal.
It is.
A big
It is.
deal.
Well, it's something you're proud of, and something that just makes your heart feel good to see that.
Now, you also have a big fundraiser every year, and that's the big garden sale. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we have 2 big fundraisers.
Yes.
One is the plant sale, and
Yep.
the other one is the garden tour.
Okay.
And the plant
So
sale
let's talk
is
first about the plant sale.
okay. That's in May, and mostly it's gardens or plants from our own gardens.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times, citizens will call us and say they are unable to do their garden work anymore, and they have something overgrown, and could we come and help them? And we will when we can. Dig up trays of hostas or whatever they have.
And is that something that you need help with, like kids in the community that they could turn around and volunteer?
We do have a few helpers, but we would never turn down good help.
Yeah. I know my daughter got engaged a little bit in the garden club, and part of that was through Linda, and but it was a neat thing to turn around and watch a little bit of that passion, because my mom was our gardener. And in fact, all the daylilies and hostas on my side of the building came from my parents' garden. And my sister and I put that here as a tribute. But it's kind of cool to watch. You didn't even know that little legacy of the event that you guys have, her being able to volunteer, turn around, and creates a little bit of awe and wonder.
Yeah.
So, but that plant sale is a big, place, and you have to think about how many people's gardens were impacted by something coming to the plant.
And that,
It's a huge
and that
event.
one is put on by both of our clubs together. That's a combined effort.
And we hold it at the train station.
Yeah, and that is a fundraiser.
Right,
Yes.
and there's tables front and back all over the place filled with plants. And we sell out pretty much.
Yeah. Now, okay, let's talk about the garden tour. Tell us a little bit about the garden tour.
We've been doing that over 30 years, 37 I think. But it's 5 gardens in Lebanon, and we try to mix up the gardens so there's something shady, something, a sunny garden, different kinds of gardening. But it's the 4th weekend in June, and we have lots of publicity on it too.
And how does someone get involved in that garden tour?
If they would like to be on the garden tour, they let us know, and we have a committee that will go out and look at their garden at different times of the year. And
then we just try to promote the event.
Right.
Sometimes the gardens are beautiful and we can't use them because the parking isn't safe or the garden itself isn't safe. A lot of people have different terrains.
Right.
And
they may not be able to get access
right.
into it. Exactly. Now, if you are out there and you're in Lebanon, you have a green thumb, or if you don't have a green thumb, I kind of think I have a little bit of a brown thumb. But if you want to help and are passionate and involved in that, how does somebody do that?
To join the garden club, we both have Facebook page. There's Lebanon Council of Garden Clubs, and that's the umbrella of the two clubs.
Okay.
And then there's the Town and Country Garden Club and the Lebanon Garden Club, and we both have Facebook pages.
Okay. And
But
so
Lebanon, I would like to say that there's a Lebanon, Oregon, there's a Lebanon, Tennessee, Lebanon, Pennsylvania.
Right.
So make sure you're in Ohio.
Hopefully we're sharing it correct. There is a link down below to do that.
It's funny that the Oregon Club, the lady that one of the people in that club is friends with me because of this happening all the time. We send people to each other because they're in the wrong city,
So is
wrong
there
state.
contact you, or do they message?
They just private message the club.
Yeah.
So that's the best way, is to turn around on Facebook and turn around and private
And
message.
we'd love
Right.
for you to we'd love for you to follow our page. So that's where you can see all the events that are occurring, how to get involved.
Yeah, and
getting
some of our
tickets,
programs so that you can
programs
see
and
what
things
we're.
like that.
Yeah.
Those are all ways to follow the pages so that everybody's. I'm excited. I'm a part of the Lebanon Garden Club.
Yeah.
I'm a member of the Lebanon Garden Club, and I may not have the space to plant, but.
You bring lots to the club.
I try to bring my photography and my pictures to promote and do that because it's just such an. And when I retired, I was able to join and do some things that are really very fun, and our members are just amazing, hardworking, and that's what I love about being a part of something that just gives me a lot of joy and a lot of happiness.
Yeah.
I remember the first time when we moved into Lebanon and we came down to the plant sale. We didn't really know anybody, but we had a bunch of smiling ladies that were turning around, and boy, it was a hot day. It was a really, really hot day, abnormally hot, and I was just amazed at how these ladies were working so hard and pulling everything. It reminded me of my mom, but it was really, really kind of a joy to sit and turn around and watch that. And that's this. If you want to be part of an organization that you're going to meet people and great people with servant hearts, I encourage you to get involved.
And we also have some men.
Yeah, there are guys.
Yeah, our most clubs are strictly women, but ours are men and women, and we have every level of gardening, from the artsy side to master gardeners and everything in between.
Right.
I'm a novice.
Yeah,
Totally a novice.
Me too. Well, great. We really, really appreciate you coming on. I know we'll see you at the butterfly event.
Yes, I hope we see lots of people.
So come on out, and again, we want to just thank you for being a Lebanon Star.
Thank you for joining us, Lebanon Star.
Lost in your hometown.